In the blink of an eye, everything Jason knew shattered. The only thing left behind was a choice of life and death. Let's hear this story of Jason's near-death experience. One night, the storm rolled in unexpectedly, dark clouds swallowing the sky whole. Jason had always loved a good rainstorm, but this one felt different. A low rumble of thunder echoed in the distance, vibrating through the air. He pulled his coat tighter around him and hurried down the deserted street, the wind picking up speed, sending leaves swirling like frenzied dancers. Jason was on his way home from a long day at work, the kind that left him drained and contemplating life choices. He wasn't just tired, he was exhausted by the monotony of his routine. The same cubicle, the same coffee breaks, the same small talk with coworkers. As he trudged through the damp air, the storm brewing above mirrored the turmoil within him. A flash of lightning illuminated the sky, and in that brief moment, he saw it, a figure standing beneath a flickering street lamp. A woman, drenched but unbothered, staring directly at him. Something about her presence sent a chill down his spine. Was she waiting for someone? He hesitated, curiosity peaking amidst his desire to keep moving. But something compelled him to stop. "Are you okay?" he called out, his voice barely audible over the rising wind. She turned her gaze, and for a moment, their eyes locked. There was an intensity in her expression, as if she was searching for something in him. "Help me," she whispered, her voice almost lost to the storm. Before he could respond, she stepped back, disappearing into the shadows. Jason's heart raced. Something was off. He shook his head, dismissing the encounter as a figment of his imagination. Yet, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had to find her. With the rain pouring down, he turned and sprinted after the shadow that had vanished moments before. The streets twisted and turned, the familiar neighborhood morphing into an unfamiliar maze. He rounded a corner and skidded to a halt. There she was again, standing in front of a dilapidated building, its windows shattered and walls crumbling. "Who are you?" he demanded, breathless. "I'm someone who needs your help," she replied, her voice steady now. "Please, come inside." Despite the alarm bells ringing in his mind, he followed her inside. The interior was dark and musty, filled with the scent of damp wood and forgotten memories. The moment he stepped over the threshold, the door creaked shut behind him, and a gust of wind rattled the windows. "Why did you bring me here?" he asked, anxiety clawing at him. "I've been waiting for someone like you," she said, her eyes glinting in the dim light. "You need to understand that life is more than just going through the motions. You're standing on the edge of something greater." "What do you mean?" he pressed, bewildered. Suddenly, the building trembled, and a low growl resonated through the walls. Jason stumbled backward, his heart racing as he grasped for something to hold onto. The ground beneath him felt unstable, as if the very foundation was crumbling. The woman reached out, her hand enveloping his. "We have to leave. Now." With that, she pulled him toward a door at the end of the hall. They burst through, and suddenly, they were outside again, the storm still raging but somehow different, electric. "Where are we?" he gasped, glancing around. Everything felt surreal. The sky was alive with color, lightning illuminating a landscape that seemed otherworldly. "You're at a crossroads," she said, her voice calm despite the chaos around them. "This storm is a metaphor. You're at the edge of a decision that could change everything." "I don't understand," Jason stammered, still reeling from the whirlwind of events. "Think about your life. The choices you've made. The dreams you've buried. You're close to a truth that could free you, but it won't come without sacrifice." In that moment, another flash of lightning struck nearby, illuminating a figure in the distance. A car swerved, hydroplaning across the slick pavement, heading straight toward them. Time slowed as Jason realized the danger they were in. "Get down," he shouted, instinctively pulling her away just as the car skidded to a halt inches from where they stood. But the impact sent shockwaves through his body. He felt an intense pain in his chest, and the world around him began to spin. He collapsed onto the ground, gasping for breath, feeling the life slipping away. "Jason." The woman's voice pierced through the chaos, and he felt her hand gripping his, grounding him even as darkness enveloped his vision. "Please, don't leave me," she cried. "You can't give up now. Not when you're so close." Images flashed before his eyes, moments of laughter with friends, missed opportunities, his father's encouraging smile, and the dreams he had set aside. In those fleeting seconds, he realized he had been living in a cage of his own making, afraid to leap into the unknown. "I don't want to die," he whispered, the pain intensifying. "Then fight," she urged, her grip tightening. "You have so much more to give to this world. You have to choose life." In that instant, a surge of energy rushed through him, igniting a spark of hope. He focused on her, on the warmth of her hand, the urgency in her eyes. With a Herculean effort, he pushed through the pain, dragging himself back toward the light. Suddenly, he was back in the alley where they had first met, rain pouring down around them. The woman was still there, staring at him with a mixture of fear and hope. He gasped for air, his heart racing, feeling alive once more. "What happened?" he panted, confusion swirling in his mind. "You chose to live," she said softly. "But now you have to make your choice count. Change your life. Break free from the mundane." Jason looked around, the storm beginning to recede. The woman's presence felt ethereal, almost like a figment of his imagination, yet there was an undeniable connection between them. He took a deep breath, the air filling his lungs with a renewed sense of purpose. "I will," he promised, his voice steadier now. "I will change my life." As the last of the storm clouds drifted away, she smiled, and in a blink, she was gone, leaving him standing alone in the rain. But he didn't feel alone. Instead, he felt empowered. With the storm behind him, Jason stepped onto the road ahead, ready to embrace whatever lay beyond. He no longer feared the unknown, he craved it. Life was waiting for him, vibrant and full of possibilities. And this time, he was ready to meet it head-on. How this experience changed Jason's life. After his encounter with the storm and the mysterious woman, Jason emerged with a renewed sense of purpose. He left his job, seeking work that ignited his passion for storytelling and creativity. Embracing adventure, he traveled to places he had only dreamed of, meeting people who inspired him and expanded his horizons. With each new experience, he shed the weight of his past, learning to live fully in the moment. The near-death experience transformed him into a more compassionate person, fostering deeper connections with family and friends. Jason became an advocate for mental health, sharing his story to inspire others to confront their fears and embrace life's uncertainties. In the wake of the storm, he found not just survival but a vibrant life filled with meaning and joy. Thank you for listening. For more fun and interesting stories, please like, share and subscribe.